All right, we are now live. Welcome, 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 everyone. My name is Alicia Walker. I am the Assistant Director of Student Life, and we will be hosting a special Coffee and Connect today, featuring the FBI Newark Division and co-sponsored by the Career Services and Student Life. So Alicia Herman-Weaver is here and Carrie Bazar. They will be introducing the panel and then also asking the questions. And then we have my colleagues here from Student Life, Russell Barefoot, the Director of Student Life, and Marie Wicklin, our Department Assistant. So welcome, 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 students. I just want to let you guys know that if you're not speaking, to please keep your mic muted. There will be some time for Q&A. You'll get the agenda in a moment. If you want to pin the FBI Newark Division, or put it in speaker mode so that whenever someone's speaking, that person will be highlighted or featured. So that is probably the best way to enjoy this experience. So without further ado, I am going to ask you to, before I do that, I'm going to ask you, if you want to ask a question, you can either use the reaction button, so you can raise your hand. It's a relatively nice group, manageable, or you can put it in the chat if you don't want to ask the question out loud, and we will ask the question for you. So there will be time to do that during Q&A. All right, without further ado, now I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues in Career Services, Alicia Herman-Weaver and Carrie Bazar. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
They're saying they lost sound. Uh-oh.
Who lost sound?
The FBI.
FBI. Oh boy.
Okay, 1 second, because they had it. Be patient with us. We're sorry. There's always the risk of technology issues at these kind of Zoom things. They had sound a few minutes ago when they did the test.
Right. That's the best idea. Leave and rejoin. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good. So we'll hold till they come back.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so while they're doing that, I just do want to tell you another thing that we normally do. We have something called the student engagement transcript, and Miss Marie will put that in the chat for us, por favor. So anytime you engage in any type of academic program or something that's eligible to be put on your student engagement transcript, like this particular event will be, and you can go on the link. I'm hearing feedback. Okay, you can go on the link and then you'll be able to put this in. So it'll be from 1 to 2. So it's a 1-hour event, and you'll be able to get credit on your student engagement transcript for this particular event. All right, do we have them?
Yes, we do.
Just testing. Christopher, can you hear us, Chris? Chris, we can't see you. We're wondering if you can hear us. I feel like I'm at a sound check for a concert. Check, check, check one, check, check.
Okay, they're there, but I'm not hearing anything.
Let's see here. I'm just looking at.
Yeah, I can see.
Oh, they're moving around on my screen here.
Yeah, mine as well, Alicia. I wonder if they're trying to log in and log out again.
Oh, okay. Now we have a visual.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Now we're feeling like it's a space launch. We have a visual.
Yeah, right. That's what I felt like.
Houston, we have liftoff. Can you hear us, FBI Newark Division? Oh.
Are they spotlighted for everybody?
They are spotlighted. They're very blurry from my computer, but maybe it's my laptop.
No, I think, okay, I'm going to remove the spotlight. People could put their own spotlight on then if it's blurry. I don't want
it. Whatever you just did cleared it up for a second, and then it went blurry again.
Okay, let's see. What is it looking like now, Alicia?
Now I see you. I always would enjoy seeing you. I see Carrie now.
Okay, FBI Newark, can you guys hear us? Nope. We lost the visual.
I can see them.
I can see them.
Yeah, I see Chris walking into the room. Chris, can you hear us? If you can hear us, turn around and put your thumbs up.
Can you hear us? Uh-oh, looks like they're calling tech support. Oh boy. All right, guys, just hang on for a moment. We did have them, so I'm sure it's something that they can get fixed pretty soon.
You can start thinking about your questions that you might have for them.
We're picking up audio now.
Oh, I heard
Oh.
something.
On the
We can
first
we
floor.
can we can hear you.
Correct, yeah, across, yeah, just before you get to the training room.
And Alicia, I see you in my big screen.
You do?
And now I see them. Chris, can you hear us? We can hear you.
At the very top.
Like even just the volume button.
Maybe they can't hear us.
We can hear you. Oh no, that's Alicia. Sorry. They cannot hear us, they're saying. That's strange because it was fine before.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if
Yeah.
the button was pressed by accident.
Yeah, I didn't press any.
No, not from your end, Alicia. I mean from their end.
Oh, we can see you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, they can't hear us.
Yeah. Are you typing or should I type?
I'm typing.
Okay, I'll type then. They don't need to get multiple messages.
Okay, we were hearing them. I don't hear them any longer though.
Didn't get like pulled out.
Yep, yep,
Oh.
they're there.
Can you hear us yet?
It's still okay.
And it was working before.
At least we can hear them. Good.
Oh, they muted. Okay. All right. So while we're waiting, I'm going to put another plug in. The RVCC Activities Board is hosting two amazing events coming up. One is this Saturday, April 23rd, and it's from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. They are hosting a charity walk-in / run. And if anybody wants to volunteer, we are sponsoring up to 20 volunteers. So we're still looking for volunteers. You just have to let me know. My name is Alicia Walker. You can find me in the email and just reach out to me, or Connie Lou, Looi. She's the president. The second one is really huge. Every end of the year, we have our spring picnic, and this year's theme is Let's Groove. It's a 70s party. So there's going to be a costume contest with cash prizes, a disco dance competition. We're going to have some soul food and the Soul Train line. So that is on Tuesday, April 26th in the courtyard from 12:30 to 2:30. So come on out. We have live DJs with some music from the 70s, and then we're going to come up to, current, of course, but we're going to have a lot of fun, free food, free giveaways. And so guys, just come out and join us. Any other announcements while we're here?
I guess we could say in career services, for anybody who doesn't know about us, we'll introduce ourselves officially once the FBI Newark division gets all set up. But especially for those students who may be graduating, don't forget to come visit us as you prepare to transition to either your next chapter at a college or university at the 4-year level, to continue with your education, or to help prepare you for an internship.
One second, Carrie.
Or a summer job.
Can the FBI committee group hear us? Looks
Yeah,
like
we can hear you now.
All right,
Yay.
wonderful. All right.
Sorry about
Okay.
that.
Thank God for IT.
That's-
That is
all
true.
right. We are ready to go then. So let's do this. Take two, the FBI Newark Division, take two. Welcome, everybody. My name is Alicia Hermo Weaver. As Carrie was just saying, I coordinate internships and cooperative education in the Office of Transfer and Career Services. That's a big title just for the students that are here so they understand. Basically, what I do for all of you is support you in your endeavor to prepare and search for internships. That can include preparing your career management tools, such as your resume and cover letter, interviewing prep, as well as LinkedIn, but really also helping you strategize how to really complement your academic experience to help you achieve your education and career goals. So welcome. Carrie, want to do a quick introduction and then?
Yes, I'll be quick because I know our guest stars are really the stars here.
Yes.
My name is Carrie Bazar, and I am the career counselor and educator at the college. I've been at RVCC for close to 23 years, and my role is to really support and coach students in figuring out who you are, what your talents are, what skills you have, and how you want to apply them to the best career options that are right for you. And also, just like Alicia, we help students translate what you're learning in the classroom to the skills that employers really value and help you to understand your own value. Thanks and welcome.
And yes, and we're also free to alumni. So when you graduate, we do not go away. We have a career advisor that works with our alumni students as well, our alumni former students as well. So the agenda for today is we have the FBI Newark Division with us. They'll introduce themselves as they speak. They're each going to spend about 10 minutes or so just talking a little bit about their background and who they are. And then we're going to go into the bulk of the program where Carrie and I will address questions and have them all answer them. And please, Christopher, if you'd like, we can just direct general questions and anyone's welcome to answer, or if you each want to take your turn to answer, however you would prefer to address it, that's fine with us. And we'll make sure we leave some time at the end so the students can ask some questions. Does that sound good to you, Christopher?
That's great. Yeah, absolutely. That sounds phenomenal.
Wonderful. So if I can just turn it over to the three of you, and we'll just have you introduce yourselves and give a little background and overview.
Great. Well, thank you for having us. Again, I apologize about that IT issue, but I'm certainly willing to stay on a little bit past 2 o'clock if anybody's hanging around and has any pressing questions. But my name is Chris Gervais. I was hired by the FBI as a special agent. I'm currently assigned to Quantico, which is where our basic training facility is for new agents. I unfortunately had a medical issue and had to recycle. So I'm here in Newark, assigned to rehab and before I go back. But before that, I was born and raised in Portland, Maine. And I was a police officer in Portland before I was hired by the FBI. While I'm in Newark, I'm assigned to the applicant and recruiting squad. So I get to interface with prospective employers, employees, and students of all kinds. So it's such a great experience for me, and I'm happy to do, get the voice of the FBI out there as best we can. So.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Again, thank you for having us. My name is Orla Cattell, and I am an OST here. That is an operational support technician, which is one of our entry-level positions. I've been here as an OST for just under a year now, and prior to that, I was an intern at the Bureau. So I interned for 2 summers, both in the internship and as an OST. I've been working on the admin side of things, so doing administrative work, both with the outreach program and then also with our administrative officer's position. And before that, in college, I went to school at King's College, which is out in Pennsylvania, but I am local to New Jersey. I'm from Monmouth County. And I actually majored in education, which is very different than most people here at the Bureau. So I represent a small portion of employees who don't have anything to do with a criminal background or any investigative things like that. But any background is welcome here. You never know how it can apply. And as an education major, I know that flexibility, adaptability, things like that are really, really important skills here that I developed while working in a classroom.
I'm Justin Ramlakan. I'm also an OST. Orla and I actually started on the same day, full time. I had started 3 summers ago, so I started 1 summer earlier. And I work in the closed files unit, so we work with the fiscal records as well as any complaint mail that we received to the bureau. And I also shadow with the IT unit. So I started with them as an intern, and I just continued shadowing with them after I became a full-time employee, which we have a shadow program, which allows you to work with other units outside of the one that you primarily work with. And you get to, you know, do a lot of their same work, get to get the experience. That way, if that's something you're interested in, then you can apply for that position and you can put that on your resume that, oh, you know, I know how to do this type of work, and that makes you a little more competitive. It also, it's for 90 days, and after that, you can go, if you maybe think, oh, well, you know, I wasn't too interested in that, you can go try it for another shadow program. And it's definitely a great opportunity for professional staff to branch out and see what the bureau has to offer, especially at a more entry-level position where you kind of want to get to experience a lot of the different opportunities we have here. There's a lot of different avenues you can go down, and it's a great opportunity to see what they have. Prior to starting full-time, I got my associate's degree at Essex County College. I got it in social science. I got my sociology degree from Montclair State University, and I stayed in Montclair State for my master's in social work. So, like Orla, not too criminal justice focused.
We love to hear a diversity of background. Our first question was really going to be about how you entered the field. And I think a lot of students are often curious, what majors are best for me and how can I build skills and build experiences that make me a possible competitive person to enter the internship program. So I'll throw that question out to the 3 of you, but really just to kind of be specific about it is, maybe what majors are preferred, but it looks like a diversity of majors. How did you market yourself and gain experiences to be kept competitive to enter the internship program?
Sure. I'll let Borgoyo and Justin talk about the internship program, but I do want to address one kind of common misconception that people in law enforcement need that criminal justice background. And I think that's completely not irrelevant, but I think that's very wrong in that needs to be the pigeonhole for their background. So I have a bachelor's in mechanical engineering from the Catholic University of America in DC. So not related to criminal justice at all. I happened to take some of the electives that were offered at my school that focused towards sociology, psychology, some counterterrorism type courses. But I did just want to throw that out there that just because you're not a criminal justice major doesn't mean that this job, specifically the special agents position, the law enforcement arm of the FBI, that doesn't make that job applicable to you. So in training there are former lawyers, teachers, professional presenters, professional ball players. It really runs the gamut. Accountants. So just if you do find yourself on the criminal justice career track, try to couple it with a minor in something. And there are certain jobs and fields that we are looking at right now. The STEM products are very popular. But I would really push it towards something that you're passionate about, that you would enjoy learning about, because that's only going to make it easier for you to learn and be driven towards your goal, even if it isn't the FBI, but whatever you do want to do. So, but specific to the internship program, I'll let them.
Just real quickly before we jump over to the 2 of you about the internship program, I'm curious, Chris. So, how did you find your way into the world of FBI and working with the FBI from an engineer background? What was your path like?
Growing up, I always liked to play with things and figure out how things work. So, engineering was kind of how I could apply that to a profession. And then on the other side of it, personally, I found, a need for service, a need for fulfillment in my employment. And I looked into the military, I looked into law enforcement, and through some different programs and trials and tribulations in my own life, I found myself landing back home in law enforcement. And then again, I took the education that I had, the educational background, and I tried out for specialty teams. I was on the accident reconstruction team, which is very heavy with math, reconstructing how vehicles were performing prior to a collision. And then I also found myself on as a public safety bomb technician on the bomb team, which is certified and run by the FBI. So that's how I got my introduction to the FBI. And I learned what resources they had and the professionalism that is just woven throughout every position here. So that's what really drew me towards the FBI ultimately.
You're a perfect example that Carrie and I always espouse, that we always talk about how careers don't have to be linear. That sometimes as we follow our passion and our purpose and really understand what that is, it guides us to our career path. So thank you so much. Yeah. Sorry to have interrupted. I'd love to hear more about the internship program from the two of you.
Oh, no worries. I'm going to echo a little bit what we've said previously, but the STEMs, those majors, science, technology, engineering, math, business, accounting, those types of majors are definitely at the forefront of the mission right now. Anything cyber related is super, super important. So even though if you don't have a major in that, getting a minor or just extracurricular activities, getting a couple courses. I know personally, although I was an education major, I had a couple of free credits that I was able to take forensics classes. So I took forensic chem, forensic bio, and that was something that really had no relation to my current major, but something that I was also passionate about. So I was able to get those credits in, and I definitely think that those boosted my application when it came to the internship, because I had something different than a lot of people had, where I had this completely diverse background of education that I was able to talk about super well during my interview, and then add in a new skill of forensics that nobody who also had my background would have. So I was able to differentiate myself between those two paths.
So you kind of developed a little niche for yourself with
Yes.
It wasn't just education. And then did you wind up hearing about it while you were at college? Did you go to the FBI website? How did you actually first hear about the internship program that you applied for?
So I was encouraged to by family members. Some of them had heard about the internship, and my brother actually did not get the internship. He was really the one who was like, oh, well, he didn't get it, so I'm going to get it. I'm going to work my butt off for this interview, make sure I have my GPA requirements, and really try to get in there. And although it started out as just like, hey, this is a cool internship, who knows where I'm going to go with it, it turned into something I was super passionate about and able to do full time.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great. Thank you. And yourself? I'm sorry.
So for me, I was also told by a family member, oh, hey, I heard about this internship. Why don't you, try it out, see like what office work is like. And it's funny because growing up, I had a lot of family in law enforcement, and I knew I wasn't interested in law enforcement. That's not for me. And so I was like, okay, maybe I can see what office work is like, what government work is like, since it's very different from private sector. I'm like, yeah, sure. Why don't I give that a try? Some extra income along with college too. Why not? But once I came here, it's just a very just a great community. Like the people that work here, they're very passionate. They're very very much driven by the work that they do, and it's also very community driven, like family driven. There's a strong sense of working together, and a drive to push forward everybody, and that's what kept me here. That's what made me think, okay, this is what I want to do. And so, despite not being too interested in law enforcement myself, the admin side of the house, all of the work that not going out and chasing bad guys, but with closed files, I really enjoy maintaining everything that we have there. For myself, I'm mostly driven to move to the IT unit, so trying to problem solve and using customer service. So, social work, not too not too useful for the FBI from the surface level, but being able to have that customer service, so I'm working with somebody that needs computer help, being able to talk to people, that's extremely important. So regardless of what your major might be, it's how you're able to pivot it to be useful for the Bureau.
Leads to a wonderful question that I have, but even before I ask you that, you both mentioned applying to the internship. Is there a specific site like USA Jobs or something that we could share in the chat with our students as far as how to apply to the internship program?
That is on FBI Jobs. On FBI Jobs, there's a specific tab about the internship. It's for college students to go and read a little bit about it. It's a summer internship. The current opening for this summer has already closed. They're in background at the moment. But for next summer, that would come out probably around August of this time frame. But we recommend checking all throughout the summer. They'll just post it. You don't really get an alert for it. So you would just check FBI Jobs once a week, maybe twice a week, something like that. And you'll see the opening pop up and you can apply through there.
There is a possibility it might open a little earlier, so possibly even check as soon as May, just to be safe. You don't want to find out and then see how long the application is and then run out of time to fill it out.
Yeah. So go ahead.
I just wanted to have a clarity question. Is it fbijobs.gov?
Yes. It is, yes.
Okay.
So thank you for that. Every position open within the FBI starts at fbijobs.gov, specifically for the internship. Like my colleagues were saying, it opens probably somewhere around August or September, but it's always advisable to continue checking or start checking from May. Check it once or twice a week. And that also gets you the exposure as to what other types of professional staff or how often the special agents position or intelligence analyst position opens up. You can start seeing the requirements, you can start seeing the pay grades and what sort of experience levels would get you a certain pay grade. You can start seeing, what things are being advertised as well. So I would check that often, early and often. And like they were speaking about, the opening is for that following summer. So summer of 2022 has already been filled and they're in background, and everybody that works in FBI space has to have a clearance. So it takes a little bit, the application process, but then mostly the background process as well. So May through September of 2022 would be for the opening for the summer of 2023. And that's a 10-week paid internship. And it would the initial application goes through headquarters, but then would get moved over towards your local field office, wherever your home of record is, wherever you reside. And that's most likely, there are options to work at headquarters. That's most likely where you would report to every day if you were chosen for the internship.
That's great, Chris. Carrie, I know you had the next question. I just want to say real quickly to the students here, today's presentation, when Carrie and I use the words planning and preparation, really one of the things that I work with students is I say, look at the positions that you want to obtain and get down the line, and look at the qualifications and look at the requirements. So when I say I work with students to strategize, and Carrie does as well, to get them ready for maybe their dream job or their dream internship and take that first step, seeing what qualifications you need to start getting now and starting to build that resume. So 2023 may seem like a little far away, but I'd say it's a great time to say, what can I do over this year as I'm prepping myself to be competitive if I choose to apply? Carrie, you were going to say something?
I have so many things I want to say. My brain is going really fast at the moment. I think points that have come up that are really worth repeating are, it's not necessarily what your major is, it's what you want to do with it. And sometimes you don't know what you want to do with it, and you don't know what's out there. So even going on to the FBI Jobs site to explore, to see what is out there and what skills are being asked, and do I want to develop those skills? And then maybe talking to someone in career services, talking to a trusted mentor about how can I build those skills, and how can I present myself strategically and effectively for an internship like the FBI. And that leads to my question, which is, what is the FBI looking for in an intern when an intern applies? What makes someone stand out?
So the FBI relies on core competencies for a lot of interviews. They will look at if you're hitting the marks on integrity. You can look up the full list online. I don't know it off the top of my head, but fidelity, bravery, integrity obviously is our little motto there. And then collaboration, communication, initiative. Those are topics that you're going to be asked about in those interviews. So anything that you can build on, skills, group projects, even little things like that, that'll just get you used to working with people, to collaborating, taking initiative by maybe you're taking the lead on a project, maybe you're taking the initiative to sign up for a new club, to be the president of a club. Little things like that that you can add on your resume and really use to get those questions in the interview and knock those out of the park.
Anyone else want to add to that?
Once again, it doesn't have to be law enforcement related at all, or something related to this type of work. As long as you can really present yourself as being able to show off those skills, and it could seem like something that you're thinking to yourself, I don't know about this one, but as long as you can really show it off and really say, this is how I was able to do this, and this is how I went about it. If you look up the STAR method, I would highly recommend that during an interview. Just if you follow that, and whenever trying to answer one of those questions, that can really give you a competitive advantage.
Alicia, you want to take a moment to bow to the STAR method? This will be helpful. This will be helpful for students to hear, and this is Alicia's dream here. So
I have another question, but I'll say it real quickly. But if this is for the students that are on today, the 20 plus students that are here, we always talk about this in class presentations. We customize career series to faculty, and I work a lot one-on-one with all of you, hundreds of students. And one of the things we work on is the STAR technique. And it's been around for a long time. And you can see the FBI uses it. My partnership with J&J uses it. My local partnerships with companies in Hunterdon and Somerset County use it. It stands for situation, task, action, and result. And it's really a way to tell your story in an impactful, efficient, direct way. Because when someone says to you, what's your strength? And you say, well, I'm really organized. Okay, what does that mean? But STAR, the S is setting the stage. So you might say, I feel that I'm most proud of the fact that I have organizational skills. For example, how I learned that was specifically when I was taking my forensic psychology class, and I was in a group project. And it was the first time I was in a leadership role. And the group was really unorganized. So you're setting the stage. You're going to tell a story about a class project within a relevant class that was referenced that the FBI likes to see. Then you're going to do the T and the A, the task and the action. That's the story. You're actually going to tell the story. Don't get caught in the weeds. Don't get caught in the details, but you're going to tell the story. And you're going to always think about the listeners in mind and what it means to them. And then the R, which is the most misunderstood part of the STAR technique, is the result, not the result of the story, but it's the result of what you learned, your takeaway, and what this means for the interviewer. It has to mean something to them or to me who was ever interviewing you. So you might say, and as a result of being in this leadership role in this group project, I was really able to learn how to take command, to really lead, but also respect my teammates and make sure everybody has a voice and is able to participate in a group project so they understand that their contribution matters. And I feel that that has made me a much better potential intern, because I really think about that when I'm working on any task or project. How did I do, FBI network, the Newark division?
That was perfect. I think you would have been hired already if you had that asked question there.
Did you say there was a question, Alicia? I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. So I guess my next question, unless Carrie, you have anything to say, was I was curious what a typical day is like. You know, if you
That
could
was
kind of
mine.
Oh, okay. If the three of you could take a little time and just shed some light on, so, you know, what's a typical day as an intern when you were both interns? What's a typical day when you're in your job, so they can hear a little bit more about what it's really like to be working with the FBI?
Sure. The in a special agent's role, it is vast. You can be doing so many different things, and within your individual role, you can be doing so many different things in the same day. So, a special agent is the law enforcement arm of the FBI. They have powers of arrest. They have the authority to carry firearms. So they, some days may be out on an arrest operation where they've it's the ending of their long investigation, and they're now completing it with a custodial arrest or maybe a summons, and that'll start the criminal prosecution aspect of it. But not everything is a federal crime. So some of the things that you might be investigating as a special agent are fraud matters, anything that has an interstate nexus. So if somebody commits a crime and then flees to a different state, often sometimes even a different country, there are things that we can investigate on that end of things, criminally as well as on the national security side. The unique thing about the FBI is we have a law enforcement arm, and we're also part of the intelligence community. So we work very closely with our intelligence partners. We have a presence overseas. So you can be tasked with a criminal investigation, or you can be assigned to the national security side, whether it's counterintelligence or cyber. The unique thing with cyber as well is it has its fingers in so many different pots where, even used to be follow the money and catch the criminal, and now it's the money is just up in cyberspace. So lose it. One sec.
Did we
Did you lose
them?
our audio?
No, we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Our screen just went black for a minute.
So yeah, there are just so many different violations and programs that you could be assigned to as a special agent. And then on top of that, there are collateral duties. I spoke about in my previous employment, I was a public safety bomb technician. We have bomb technicians that work on the Weapons of Mass Destruction Directorate, both on the criminal and national security side for counterterrorism. And then there are more, things that you might more commonly associate with law enforcement: firearms instructors. We have special reaction teams or SWAT teams for barricade subjects and rescues and that sort of incident. Community outreach. So it's really, there are so many different things. The uniqueness of the special agent position is that you can be hired on board because of your specialties, because you have a cyber background, because you're a CPA, an accountant, because you're a forensic accountant or forensic analyst or evidence technician or something like that. And then you can also apply to the special agent's position and use, in your first couple of years, you'll do the requirements of a normal special agent in investigation, but then you could get back into that specialized field as a special agent. So I think the special agent's position is so diverse that there are so many opportunities. Of course, I'm a little biased towards that, but I think that's a very, no pun intended, special opportunity.
Just so you know, Chris, we just lost your visual. We're hearing you fine. We just don't see you anymore. Which, listen, if we only can hear you, at least we can hear you. So I just wanted to let you know that. Oh, you're back. Fantastic.
And you can also be a special agent in IT. So.
Yeah. And we know that IT is always needed, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Great. Thank you so much. And how about, I'd love to hear from the both of you as well.
Yeah, so the great thing, but also a difficult thing about the Bureau is it changes so quickly. There are so many things to do that for me, it is a little hard to generalize. But an average day in my position as an OST, an operational support technician, but also working with the executive management, is generally fielding phone calls. I'm one of the first lines that any of our employees go to if they have HR questions, just general questions that maybe IT can't help with, but they need to ask somebody. They get directed to me. I also interact with the public pretty frequently. So if our operations center receives a phone call and it's somebody asking about collegiate hiring, if it's about the internship, just general Newark FBI questions, those also get sent to me. So I field a lot of interaction between the public and between the bureau here. Just the other day, I was on the phone with somebody from Washington and then working with somebody down at another field office to coordinate other events that we might have them visiting for us, or we might be visiting there. So definitely a lot of liaison work, which is very exciting to me. I get to work with so many different new people. And then on the OST side of things, I also help with transcriptions. So maybe the squads have a recording they need typed up. I'm able to assist with that. If there's a critical incident, I'm on the response team for that. So I'm able to help out maybe in a command center, little things like that that are so different from day to day. That's not something that's going to be part of my typical morning. But if something happens, that's a drop everything and go type situation. So just kind of filling the work as it comes in with those interactions, with transcriptions, other documents I'm providing typed up for cyber, all those different people, and then waiting to see if anything else comes in that needs my attention.
That's great. Thank you.
For myself, it's like Orla said, there's a lot of diversity. My primary role in close files, if anybody needs records or if we're receiving any physical records, we make sure we maintain them, which might include updating them, keeping the physical maintenance of them in proper condition, filing them properly. Someone might need a record pulled, and we'll get that for them, as well as any complaint mail that comes to the Newark division. We'll see through it, see if it's a complaint that's legitimate, and we'll make sure it gets to the proper people. We previously were also in reception that moved to a different squad, but anyone who came to the Newark office, we would meet them at the front at the front door. Being that I'm shadowing with IT, any IT questions or any problems, I'll help out with that, or any projects that they have, I'm able to help out with that. And just in general, OSTs get a lot of different projects from different squads. There's a lot of people in WMD that are working on a big project that they're getting a lot of OSTs. There's people that are working in cyber that they've been there for a few months, that they've been helping out projects there. And basically any squad that needs support, we're able to help them out. And there are also OSTs that are specific to a squad that they'll kind of stay in their area, squad OSTs. So they're kind of the first one they go to, but if they have bigger projects, then they can reach out to our supervisors and let them know, hey, we have a project that we need support on. Can you lend us a few people?
It's interesting. I was just thinking while you were talking, and I know that we're getting close to Q&A time, and I believe Carrie has another question. But I often have students when they're thinking about an internship, they're very nervous about their first day and will there be training? What are they supposed to know when they walk in the door? How much should they ready themselves? What type of ways they should get ready? Will they be underprepared? Will they be mentored? What were your internship experiences like?
So my internship experience, I would say it was great. I did have a great mentor who was there. She was my supervisor, but she was also the mentor for the internship program. She was there every step of the way. If I had questions prior to, I know the FBI internship is a little different in the sense that you have this big, long background process you have to go through in order to be cleared to work in the building. So myself, like any other college student who's really hoping for an internship, panicked. I haven't heard in 2 weeks. I haven't heard in a month. What's going on? And there was a great person who was answering the phone, which in this case, I'm one of those people now. So I kind of get to help out on the flip side, but they were able to provide information. I could have asked the silliest question to am I allowed to bring sunglasses in the building? I was asking about a watch. So you never know what questions you're going to have. And they were very, very helpful in the sense that they walked me through everything I would need in the building, things I wasn't allowed to bring in the building at first, what my first day, my first week would be like. We did have a onboarding program. So the first couple days the interns were together, we were able to answer questions. We were able to meet with the HR people, make sure all of our information was correct. And we actually worked with headquarters. They had a conference that headquarters ran some presentations for us to learn, not just about the internship, but about general things that go on in the Bureau, so that later on, if we wanted a full-time position, we already had that background built in from day one.
Oh, that's wonderful. Justin?
And I mean, as far as the whole applying, it can be a little challenging. For myself, it actually took, I applied 3 times. First time I applied at Essex County, but I found out that you need to be at a 4-year school, so I couldn't get it. Then I had applied at Montclair State, but they didn't finish my background in time, so I actually had to go the following year. so you know, it can be a little challenging because it is a long background process, and they have to you know, meet with a lot of people, and really they want to get to know you and make sure that you're the right person for the job. So, you know, if it doesn't go through the first time, don't be discouraged. Sometimes it does take, you know, more than 1 year to go through. But as far as my experience, it was an excellent experience. Like I said before, I was with IT the whole time, and I was able to ask anybody in the unit any questions. And for myself, I didn't really come with an IT background. My first semester of college was I was a computer science major, and then I immediately swapped to social science. And so I didn't really have any IT background. I hadn't even opened up a computer before that. And, you know, they were very much, you know, willing to teach you. And really it's just about your attitude and going into it. And do you want to learn? Do you want to take in? And the FBI is a very different experience than a lot of private sector. And so there, as far as the day-to-day work, you can't really learn a lot of it outside of the Bureau. You have to learn it here. You know, there are definitely skills that you have to take with you from the outside, but as far as the particulars of work, you know, you're going to learn it here, and you're going to have people that are more than happy to teach you, you know, guide you along the way, because we do have very different systems than a lot of outside places. So, you know, as far as feeling nervous, you know, it's absolutely understandable, but you know, you're gonna kind of get thrown in, and you know, you'll be guided along the way. I mean, even when you're starting as an intern, when you look at the application, it's pretty vague. It doesn't really tell you what you're gonna be doing, and so, you know, the whole time I'm like, so exactly am I doing? And even when you start, first couple of days when you're having that training from headquarters, you don't even know what unit you're on. You're still kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but
A lot of that's based on, it's because it's dependent on the needs of the Bureau, and our mission shifts left or right every once in a while, and priorities change, and certain emergencies come up. So they are able to throw the assets that they have, that the Bureau has, at those special projects, and that's why we're able to perform so well so quickly, is because of the people that are hired, not because they think that the FBI thinks that person might be an OST from day one, or a special agent from day one. That's fine. We'll get them to the training that they need to perform well. We've hired them because they've exhibited the initiative and the collaboration and those core competencies outside in their own lives prior to coming to the Bureau. And that's what I think makes the Bureau such a professional organization as well.
It sounds like you're the also essential personality traits are flexibility and adaptability.
Yes,
100%.
by far.
Yes, absolutely.
I would ask, I know that you had mentioned, Justin, that you didn't study computer science before entering the internship. And I just want to ask one last question before we open it up to questions from our attendees. How important was GPA in applying to this internship, and what courses for each of you, Orla and Justin, would you say were the most helpful and valuable to the work that you do, and why?
So
It's a
there is
three-part
minimum-
question.
So there is a minimum GPA requirement. So you definitely want to make sure you're above that every
3.0.
It's 3.0. So you want to make sure that you're at or above that. And obviously the higher GPA, the better. But you definitely have to make sure you maintain that. If you fall below that, so if you're continuing in school, you can stay into the internship program as long as they would like to, keep you as an intern. So it's 10 weeks full time during the summer, but during the school year, in order to maintain your clearance, you have to come in a minimum of 16 hours a semester and a maximum of 16 a month. So if you do fall below that during your school year, though, then unfortunately you will be terminated from the internship program. So definitely, maintaining that is important. But as far as my schooling, just my, I would say social work and sociology, just working with people. And I think especially my internship programs outside of this, the FBI, but interning for grad school, just working with people on a day-to-day basis and providing customer support was definitely the most useful for me. And being able to just know how to interact with people in a very professional manner, and just gaining that experience of people that you don't know and you're calling for the first time, and you might be. I know for me and a lot of other people, you might not be the most comfortable with phone calls. So having to do that every single day, as far as your internship, that definitely helped out. And just getting put in situations that you're not always the most prepared for. That definitely helped me. So going into anything that we have here, I'm definitely able to be adaptable, flexible to whatever situation that, all of a sudden, hey, we have this project that popped up, we need ideas. And um, for grad school, my second year, I had interned for a school social worker, and we had support groups. And so coming up with ideas on a weekly basis, being able to do that and then apply that to something like here where we had a really big project where we had to ship out a ton of boxes, and how is the most efficient way to do that, and be able to go up to your supervisor and say, hey, I have an idea of how we might be able to adjust how we're doing this, and it might save us a little time, things like that. Just being able to speak up and share ideas and be able to be creative with that, definitely.
For myself, for same question there. Any of my courses that had some sort of experience outside the classroom, any work experience. Last spring, I was student teaching, and no one learns flexibility and adaptability like a teacher trying to manage a kindergarten classroom with half of your kids in person and half of your kids on a little computer screen next to you, and they all want to chat with you because they're so excited to be in school. So as much as I loved that, I really enjoyed the experience because that gave me that flexibility skill that any interview I have from here on out, I could easily talk about that experience as a great star method of that course, that program, and getting that core competency out of the way. So really any course that puts you outside of your classroom, gets you that experience needed, or any extracurriculars you can do, whether it's working with programs where they have interview practices, resume building, those little tips and tricks that they give you, although at the time might not seem super important, really do get your foot in the door a lot further than you would have just on your own. So things beyond the classroom definitely is what I would recommend.
I feel like we've hired you to be an important advocate for starting career preparation, career planning, career development early, that it really is a cumulative kind of representation of all the different experiences, whether it be classroom experience, leadership, club involvement, different types of internship, even part-time work. All of these experiences, how you market and what you learn from that is so important. Yes?
Definitely. I actually was helping conduct some of our previous OST and internship interviews, and some of the people who had just they were working during college, so maybe they were working at a local fast food restaurant or anything like that, food service industry, those interactions that you have provide great answers for interviews because you can really build up the situation and explain the story super well. And there's an immediate result of how the customer felt afterwards, what you learned from the experience. So you really never know where you're going to find those answers.
Yes, absolutely. I know that Alicia is, I can see kind of the importance of the time going so quickly as this always does. We have more questions, Carrie and I, for all of you, but let's see if any of the students have any questions they want to shout out or put in the chat room now. If not, we'll ask some more, but I know that the time is precious. So any questions for the students that are here on today's wonderful meeting we're having with the FBI? Alicia, do you see anything coming into the chat room?
Yes, actually. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I do have a question. It says, will the post for the internship be under the regular job posting when it opens?
Yes, so on FBIjobs.gov, if you go into the search job posting, it'll be listed just along any other professional staff, any agent, any IA openings. Generally, you can search for the internship program. There's a search bar there. And then if you go into FBIjobs.gov, just their general student section, it'll also say on there if the posting is currently up or if it's soon to be up or if it's already passed. That should have a little info blurb as well.
That's great. Thank you. There's
right.
another question?
Yeah. Yep, here's another one coming in. What is the special agent training like? Any special firearms, swim tactics, etc.?
Yes, so we actually don't do anything in the pool training-wise. There is a pool on campus, but the basic field training course, BFTC, is down in Quantico, Virginia. I come from Maine, so I much prefer to be there in the wintertime than the summertime because it's too hot. But it is right now a 17-week training academy, and that encompasses law studies. So there are a few legal tests going over Fourth Amendment, all the amendments, but Fourth Amendment search and seizures. There's training in firearms, both pistol, handgun, and rifle. There is Tactical Emergency Vehicle Operations course, TVOC. So that's both defensive driving, but also driving an emergency vehicle, because that's different than driving your personal vehicle down the road. There is a lot of training in defensive tactics. It's team tactics, how to make a proper, safe arrest. The best way to do that is, and then there's tactical training through the practical applications unit. And that can be anything from the routine arrest, which I would argue there is no routine arrest, but somebody that you don't foresee putting up trouble, or maybe they know you're coming and you've agreed to meet them in a designated location. Something that simple to a special weapons and tactics type scenario as well. So the course really drives home the basics. You don't come out of there as the best agent. You do come out of there as the best trained agent to that point, because the training is always evolving. So it's important to be a sponge down there and soak up everything that the instructors are saying. There are different units, many instructors with hundreds of years worth of experience in their respective fields. So and then you also get the fun trainings like the evidence collection and the caveats of cyber, and so not something that every special agent will go into based on the needs of the Bureau, but something that you should be exposed to know what the capabilities are, so that when you do get into that position and you can transfer into a different unit or onto a different investigative squad, that you know what opportunities are out there. Just coming to Newark, I certainly didn't think I knew everything, but it wasn't even in the building 2 hours before I had already seen so many different units that I never even thought existed. I think one of the best ways to describe it is one of the easiest ways is it's a big city. Like there are so many different departments that need to run each just in an individual field office. So that, if you can dream up the position, I'm pretty sure that the FBI has somebody that does it.
All
That
right,
leads to the
thank
next
you.
student question, actually, because we did have a student who asked if there was a law division in the FBI. So maybe if you could share some examples of some of the divisions with us?
Sure. So we certainly do have a legal aspect, a legal unit. There's a training unit down at Quantico that teaches just law. They're the subject matter experts for the law. They are constantly researching what the Supreme Court is deciding, what the Supreme Court what cases they're looking into. Outside of that, you have legal departments that are reviewing and building policy. They are dealing with civil lawsuits, criminal procedures, reviewing search warrants, and then a small aspect of the legal unit are special agents. So sometimes you can get your law degree while you're a special agent, but if you are a practicing lawyer prior to being employed by the FBI and you become a special agent, up to that point you won't be practicing law anymore, but there are positions called the Chief Division Counsel and the Assistant Division Counsel that are in every field office, and they are special agents, but also lawyers that do all of those things I've already spoken about, but also advise the special agent in charge, some of the supervisors, even down to special agents that are looking for input on writing a search warrant or executing a search warrant, or some of the legal aspects that go along with the special agent's position.
All right, thank you. The next question is, how does joining the FBI affect family and or personal life?
Great question.
Yeah, speaking from the law enforcement aspect of it, there are certain people that don't agree with law enforcement in general, that have skewed views of what law enforcement does. And unfortunately, there have been people that disassociate with members of their family that end up joining the FBI. But I think more importantly, it's a great opportunity to interact with family members, do similar to what we're doing right now, and putting a face to somebody that works at the FBI, having a conversation with them, understanding better what their day-to-day is and what they do, what their goals are, what their missions are. So a lot of times there are, I would say there's probably two schools of thought where people that never saw themselves wanting to be in law enforcement end up here, and people that only thought they were going to be in law enforcement end up here. And they're not that dissimilar in my experience. So I think there are certainly decisions that need to be made, situational awareness, who you tell that you work for the FBI, kind of day-to-day decisions, but it is a way of life, but at the same time, it's a job, it's a career, so it doesn't have to define you. But
I was just going to say real quickly, is there a good work-life balance, or do you find that that's hard to balance the two worlds?
From what I've seen so far, this position has allowed me to have a much better work-life balance than my previous position in law enforcement. This is not necessarily more reactive. I think a patrol position, a local law enforcement would be fairly reactive, but that we are a 24/7 operation, but investigations don't necessarily need to be investigated 24/7. You can do your 9 to 5, your 8 to 4. There are definitely going to be long days, But I found this position is better for my work-life balance than the local law enforcement position that I was in prior to.
Got it.
So the student wanted to clarify a little bit further and ask, are you away from your family often, or do you have to relocate or move often?
It depends. The two positions in the FBI, the special agents position and the intelligence analyst, those two positions sign a mobility agreement. And that's not to be confused with, that means that the Bureau can just move you all around wherever they want. The mobility agreement just says that once you graduate from the academy, you agree to be placed at any of the 56 field offices that the Bureau has. That's within the continental United States, within the United States. We have one we have Hawaii, Alaska, and some in San Juan, Puerto Rico as well. So the mobility aspect is just at first office, and then there's no mandatory transfers. So after that, if you choose to stay in that field office, you're welcome to. If you do want to put in for a transfer, there are openings throughout the country that you would be eligible to put in for. As far as the training, prior, living with COVID is, I guess, not new to us all anymore, but while COVID was going on, the new agent trainees at the academy were required to stay there for the 17 weeks, for the roughly 5 months. And that was just for, health reasons and to mitigate the risk so that they could continue training. I was able to go home each weekend if I chose to, but I think training is fun, and you want to be down there building those relationships, because these are the people that you're going to be working with for the next 20 years, and it's fun to be with them. And then as far as away from training, it's based on what sort of trainings you take, what sort of job opportunities. Your family certainly moves with you if you choose for them to do that. Go to the different field offices when you get assigned, but there are people that say, hey, I'm going to take this for a 2-year stint to better my resume for a promotion or for whatever reason, and they leave their family back in the field office where they came from because they know they're going back. So it could be either way. It's based on what you really want to do in the career.
All right, thank you so much. And there's a follow-up to the law question. The
Sure.
student is asking, what are the requirements needed to join the law division? And if there is a different internship for that one? That was the question.
I'll let you answer the internship. I don't believe it's a different internship, but you might be placed into that.
So with the internship, if there is an opening with the legal unit, if they need extra support, then they would definitely place someone who has that background or has an interest. There isn't always a guarantee that you're going to be placed exactly where you want. So you would still be in the general internship. If you get the opportunity to work with them, that would be great. If you're not placed with them, they always are more than welcome for interns to move around, still sticking with whatever you're assigned to, but doing some extra collateral duty work. So you might be assigned on a cyber squad, but you can work with legal for either a case you're working on, or if they have some extra work, you can shadow one of them just for a short time frame to get that experience. So still same internship, still might be the same duties, but you'd be able to get that experience if you wanted it.
Thank you so much. All right, we are about to close this portion of our program. If you have additional questions, now is the time. We want to thank the FBI Newark Division for extending their time a little bit so that you guys could get your questions in. And I see the question, but before I say that, Miss Marie is on, and one of the things that we usually do is a gift certificate, a gift card, a $25 gift card just for showing up and participating in the program. And she's going to prepare the picker wheel. Now, those of you who have asked questions will get an additional chance to actually win this gift certificate, gift card. I'm sorry, it's an e-gift card. So while she's preparing that, I will go ahead and ask this final question. Are there any agents that specialize in tactical medicine?
There are a few, I think there's one agent who is an ER doctor, formerly an ER doctor, but they've kept their certifications. But yeah, there's certainly within each field office, there are specialties for the SWAT team, the bomb team, diving team, and there would be tactical medics that would be attached to those types of teams. And then because we are a national organization, there's a whole national level of all of those sort of resources. And we call it CERV, the Critical Incident Response Group. So those would be the national assets that would deploy on a larger scale, and certainly tactical medicine and tactical medics would be attached to that as well.
All right. So while Miss Marie is preparing that, I do want to bring your attention back to the chat, and you guys can do one or two things. You could either copy the chat because there's some information here for you, or you can save the chat. So if, for instance, you're in the chat, there's three little dots to the bottom right. If you click on that, you can actually save the chat. Just remember where you're saving it to. That's the only thing. Or you can copy and paste it into a Word document and you'll have it, because there's a couple of links. As we mentioned earlier, this particular program is eligible for your student engagement transcript. And then also Carrie has placed the NACE core readiness competencies for applications for here at RVCC. So you guys can go ahead and click on that link so that you'll have it open, so you'll be able to get that information. And then also the STAR interviewing technique was also posted. Let me see if I can find it. Carrie, thank you so much. And I'll repost it again just so you'll have it all together. All right, Miss Marie, are you ready okay, she said one moment. Okay, so while
Can
we're
I-
waiting, I'll turn it over to you, Alicia.
Yeah, I just want to chime in real quickly and kind of sum it up. I think this session has been really informative. And one of the things that I think was a repeating theme is that there's many paths to the FBI. And often students will panic and get worried. Am I in the wrong major? Am I not doing the right thing? Am I missing something? What should I be doing differently? And it sounds like, and please either echo or compliment or add for this kind of final thought, but if you could do something over and do it differently, what would you do differently? Or if you could give some last words of advice to students who get very nervous about, am I doing the right thing that's going to help me get where I want to go? What would you say to them?
I certainly wouldn't do anything over. I think there have been missteps in my career path, and that has only led me to here, and I think this is exactly where I need to be. So, not everything will be sunshine and rainbows all the time, but as long as you continue to get up when you get knocked down, I think you'll experience what you need to experience, and you'll be able to look back and realize that was an opportunity of growth.
That's great.
100%.
Thank you.
100% agree with that. Yes. I was one of those students last year who was thinking, oh, I really should have majored in forensics. I should have done that full time. I don't know why I chose this. What was I thinking? And ultimately, the skills that I got through my major really are what sold me to be here. So I don't regret anything, because this is where I am now. I'm taking full advantage of that. And just be confident in yourself and the skills that you're learning, and you'll just be able to do it yourself.
Absolutely. Whatever it is that you're passionate about, just make that shine through. And whatever it is that you go into, just as long as you can really use those skills to your full advantage, then you'll be in a good place. Things that you think maybe aren't so relevant, I find relevant all the time. Things that I learned that I'm thinking, it's not really something I'm gonna ever use later in life. I find that I'm using all the time, stuff from getting my associates to my bachelor's, master's, all the time. So definitely, whatever it is you're learning, take full advantage of it. Make sure you're keep paying attention, and you never know when you're gonna find that it's incredibly useful.
That's wonderful. We can't thank you all enough for taking the time today and being here. I personally thought this was fantastic. And so just can't thank you enough.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us all, and we're certainly very excited about everyone's future.
Yes, thank you so much. To the OSTs, Laura, Justin, I mean, you guys were amazing. And I'm so glad we had the opportunity to show our students what the possibilities could look like from a student perspective to now professional, person in the FBI. And Special Agent Chris, we just, again, thank you for your time and
Thank
for
you.
extending that professionalism, that knowledge, that journey that you took as well. I've learned quite a bit myself. So I think Miss Marie is ready. I don't want to belabor this because I know students got to get back to class. So Miss Marie, we can go ahead and share screen, and good luck to everyone. So this is just something that we do, just again to the students as a thank you for showing up. Don't forget, if you have a class where you're getting some type of service learning or credit for this, make sure that you reach back out. If you do the student engagement transcript, that's proof that you attended here. And you can use my name, Alicia Walker, or Alicia Herman Weaver, or Carrie Bazar as the contact person.